What is up, Earthnoids, Spacenoids, and everything in between? I am just a simple Newtype. Today, we are back to following Whitebase post Operation Odessa. Our last two videos were heavily focused on Operation Odessa, so if you haven't checked those out, I definitely recommend watching to get caught up. In this video, we will see the return of Char, a few new mobile suits on Xeon's side, as well as make our way to Jaburo. So let's get into this. Amado uses the gun parry to transform the core fighter into the Gundam. He is training to get the transformation under 17 seconds. Whitebase is on its way to Northern Ireland to get repairs for damages they received at the Battle of Odessa. As Whitebase docks in Ireland, one girl is collecting data and transferring that data via balloon, which then sends a signal to a sub. Weird. Char gets intel that Whitebase is nearby. He goes out in a small vessel to investigate. The Whitebase crew meet up with General Revel and most of the EFF that made their way to Northern Ireland. It is here that General Revel informs the crew that if anyone doesn't want to be a part of the military, they will be placed in prison for knowing too much information of Operation V. General Revel also notes that the Gundam has caused Xeon to put money into the development of new mobile suits and mobile armors. Meanwhile, the spy is trying to get close to the military base to get info. Frau Bow also wonders that if she joins the military, the children might not have anyone to help raise them. Meanwhile, under the sea, the Mad Angler Division launches some GOGs. The MSN-03 GOG is an amphibious mobile suit created by Zemad after a failed amphibious Zaku design. Unlike the original failed Zaku design that became the Zuda, watch our Hidden One-Year War video for more info on that. The round shape helps the mobile suit reduce water resistance. The Mad Angler launches missiles onto the base. Only the Gundam is available to launch, and the beam rifle seems to not be available for use. Amado preps for launch. The GOGs advance on land and start taking out the surrounding city. The Gundam launches and advances on the GOGs. General Revel watches from afar. He notes that war relies too heavily on mobile suits these days. The gun tank is finally ready to launch Hayato sorties. Meanwhile, the Gundam's Vulcan cannons are useless on the GOG. Luckily, the Gundam has the G-hammer. We haven't seen this since space. Unluckily, the GOG is able to stop the hammer with very little effort. Amado suggests that they use the G-Bull module. The Gundam returns and preps the new G-module. The G-Bull is the modularization of the G-Fighter and the Gundam. It combines to make a powerful tank which can be piloted directly from the core block in the Gundam cockpit. Amado and Sayla launch into G-Bull. They use their mega particle cannon to take out one of the GOGs. Whitebase launches the G-Armor with the Gundam's modules. It attaches to the G-Bull, then the Gundam modules separates from the G-Armor module. The Beam Saber is also now good to go. The Gundam jumps into the ocean and attacks the GOG. The GOG is fast. It has the upper hand and tries to crush the Gundam's head. But the Gundam is able to blind the GOG and then get the killing blow. The Gundam comes out of the water. Meanwhile, Char makes his return to the Mad Angler, missing the entire battle. Char's pride is damaged by Amado and must seek his revenge. On Whitebase, Amado is giving the crew a lesson on how to use all the new modules. He also explains the easy forms of each variation. I believe we already discussed the G-Sky Easy in the last video. Meanwhile, Kai is getting tired being on this ship. He decides to leave. Amado gives Kai his toolbox to exchange for money. As Kai takes off, he runs into the spy from earlier. He invites him over to her house. While getting comfortable at her home, Kai discovers a gun in her basket. Kai gives her false information about Whitebase's situation. Meanwhile, the Mad Angler launches the Zagak. The MSN-07 Zagak is an amphibious mobile suit similar to the God, but much of the data collected from the God was used to make the Zagak. Unlike the GOG, however, they can handle themselves quite well on land. The Mad Angler emerges from the sea and begins launching missiles. Sayla and Amado launch. Kai notices the battle from afar. He asks Miharu, the spy's siblings, where she went. They lie to Kai, but Kai doesn't believe it. Meanwhile, the spy Miharu meets up with someone who gives her orders to sneak about White Base. When she returns, Kai is gone. She tries to go find Kai. Hayato launches in the gun cannon. It intercepts the Zagaks, but it doesn't seem to be able to carry its own weight. Kai, looking at the battle, has a flashback of every slap he's received on White Base. He decides to return to White Base. Kai returns and gets in a gun tank. Hayato is being toyed with by the Zagak. The Zagak attempts to split the gun cannon apart, but Kai comes in for the rescue and saves Hayato. The Gundam pushes the Zagak back into the water. The spy, dressed as an EFF soldier, sneaks onto White Base. The Gundam is fighting the Zagak. It lures it out of the water where Kai is waiting to get a shot off. It does, and the Gundam uses its beam saber to get the final kill. Back on White Base, Kai gives Amado his toolbox.
Well, Amuro, I was told your toolbox isn't worth a dime.
But I paid a lot for that!
Kai is back to his cocky self. On the Mad Angler, Char is notified that the spy successfully made it on board the White Base. White Base leaves Northern Ireland and makes their way towards Jaburo. Sayla and Amado practice transforming the Gundam in G-armor. They are able to get it down to 15 seconds. But one of the Gundam's arms is still exposed, and that will be a problem. Miharu the spy sneaks in to Bright's quarters. Kai comes in to get Bright and finds Miharu. Kai thinks that she snuck on to be with him, so Miharu just goes with it. She hides in Kai's quarters. Meanwhile, some of the Mad Angler crew pretends to be civilians and lands onto White Base requesting emergency assistance on a civilian aircraft. Boom, one of the Mad Angler crew, makes contact with Miharu and informs them that they are heading to South America. Kai is suspicious of the civilian crew. He runs to the docks, but the civilian crew plane takes off. Kai suspects that they might be spies, but he can't give Bright any proof without informing him that Miharu is on board. Back at the Mad Angler, Boone requests if he could use the new mobile armor, the Grublo. The MAM-07 Grublo is a mobile armor designed in the vein of a submarine that has mobile suit capabilities. However, the Grublo does not have any particle beam capabilities. The Grublo and two Zagaks head out. White Base prepares for an attack. Sayla and Amado launch. White Base gets hit. Sayla and Amado transform. Meanwhile, Hayato launches in the core fighter. White Base is still getting hit. The gun cannon is unable to launch. Bright gets Kai to launch in the gun parry. As Kai prepares to launch, Miharu joins Kai even though she has no training. Hayato distracts one of the Zagaks, which Sayla destroys. She is excited that she took out the new unit. The Gundam goes underwater and runs into the Grublo. The Gundam goes to fire the beam rifle, but underwater, the beam rifle is 50% less effective. Kai decides to take Miharu with him on the gun parry. Hayato is out of ammo, so the gun parry goes in to attack the Zagak. They go in to fire, but one of the missiles is jammed. The only way to unjam the missile is to detach it via the lever next to the missile. Miharu goes to pull the lever. However, force and all does its thing and launches Miharu from the gun parry. However, before dying, Miharu was successful and destroys the Zagak. The Gundam lost its leg. but it allows the Gundam to move more easily underwater. He takes out the Grublo. Kai lands the gun parry to find out that Miharu didn't make it. He is upset for her loss. No one but Amuro even knew of her existence. Char is upset that the spy hasn't been giving them any more intel, not knowing that Miharu is currently dead. White Base finally makes its way to Jaburo and docks. Char notices that White Base has disappeared. He believes that he has found an entrance to Jaburo. His plan is to take out Jaburo and steal White Base. His crew receives the experimental Zoc. The MSN-10 Zoc is also an amphibious mobile suit that has a 360 monocamera. It also has 8 megaparticle cannons. Honestly, there really isn't any variation between the GOG, the Zagok, and the Zoc. All these names certainly are something, however. The Zoc's launch. Amuro meets with Lieutenant Woody, who used to know Lieutenant Matilda. Woody was planning on marrying Lieutenant Matilda. Amuro was unaware that she was even engaged. He apologizes and regrets not being able to save Matilda. Woody gets mad at Amuro and tells him that no one person is responsible, especially in war. White Base is assigned to the Team Fleet by Admiral Gog, and also the White Base crew won't receive any punishments. He does this as a favor to Mirai's father, Shu Yashima. He was a politician who most likely kicked the EFF a lot of money back in the day. Suddenly, the alarms go off. Jaburo is getting attacked, but Jaburo is huge and EFF is trying to isolate the attack. However, from above, many Dops and Gaos come striking down. While this is all happening, the amphibious Zeon mobile suits are making their way underwater. They make it back to White Base. Amuro and Sayla launch into G-Bull, and Hayato and Kai in the gun tank and the gun cannon. Kai is no longer dwelling on the loss of Miharu. While the G-Bull is on alert, Sayla notices new mobile suits. Amuro notes that they are the new mass-produced GIMs. Zaku's, Goose, and Doms all launch. Char and his team of Zagoks also launch. Char actually is piloting a red MSN-07S Zagok commander type. Char loses 2 members of his team before penetrating Jaburo's gates. Char notes that Jaburo is well prepared. Char goes underwater and meets up with his team of Zocs. The Zocs open an entrance to Jaburo. Zeon can now enter the base. The G-Bull goes to protect another entrance. The enemy is overpowering the base. Bright tells Sayla and Amuro to transform. Amuro notices a red mobile suit and wonders if it's Char. Char takes out a gem with ease. Amuro and Char dance once again. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Woody is operating a hovercraft. Char instantly takes it out. This enrages Amuro. He takes out one of the Zocs. Char makes his escape as usual. Most of Zeon forces make their retreat. Back on White Base, Amuro is certain that the red Zagok was Char. And that guy takes out an EFF outpost. Char is in his Zagok and is leading his team of AT guys, making their way back to Jaburo. The MSN-04 AT guy is another amphibious mobile suit made by the Zeonic Company. Like many of these amphibious variants, the AT guy has iron nails extending arms. At Jaburo, White Base crew is given rank. Bright is now lieutenant, Mirai is now ensign, and Amuro is now chief petty officer. Ryu Jose is posthumously given the rank of lieutenant. Amuro speaks out at his superior officer and he is slapped.
Oh, what?
Frau Bo is concerned about the kids because they are being transferred to an orphanage and the kids do not want to go. At the orphanage, the kids sneak out. They make their way into a cavernous area which just so happens to be the rendezvous location of Char and his men. Char's crew ties up the kids after charging bombs all over the gyms. The kids are able to escape from the rope. They make their way to the gyms and remove all the bombs. The kids dump the bombs into a jeep and drive away. Amado and the gang meet up with the kids. They tell Amado of the situation. The gang tries to help the kids while Amado goes off and drives the bombs somewhere safe. He jumps the jeep off the cliff. The bombs go off. The gems are saved. As some of Char's team gets away, the others and the Yak guys start assaulting the base. Amado and the kids make their way back. While looking for the children, Sayla runs into Char. They are sure that they are each other's long-lost siblings after meeting. It is once again cut short by Mirai shooting at Char. Meanwhile, the Gundam launches. He chases down and kills an Yak-guy. The Yak-guys swing away like monkeys. But Amado is still able to take them out. Char and Amado engage in battle. Char notes that Amado is a better fighter. He makes his escape. Back at Jaburo, the crew convinces EFF higher-ups to allow the kids to stay on White Base. After the attack on Jaburo, EFF thinks that Zeon are vastly overestimating White Base's powers. Because of this, they want to use White Base in space as a decoy. Bright feels uneasy about this. And that will do it for this video. We went from Odessa to Jaburo, and now it is finally time for White Base to make its return to space. In our next video, we will meet Lieutenant Slegger Law, Amado and Char finally meet for the first time, and Dozel Zabi is preparing something big. Until next time, Newtypes, don't let a spy penetrate your ship and your heart. Peace.